would think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, and it'd be more fun if we were winning in these events, but we're not. So, still great opportunities. Really, the highlight was probably Bathurst. Getting the opportunity to do that with Walking Challenger United was pretty cool. And James and I joked that if there wasn't timesheets, it probably would have been the best week we've ever had. But there were, so it wasn't. But yeah, Baja was awesome. Unfortunately, we crashed out of the lead, which sucks, but it happens in desert racing. And then Daytona, had a fast car, but Elio got
Clipped. What did you
a
say?
bit more than clipped. Fired off
I was
by
trying
Mazda.
to be kind.
And that ended our day about 4 hours in, so that sucked. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, probably. We just got through kind of celebrating the life of John Andretti, and somebody who was really versatile. Do you have more things on your bucket list? What are they?
Not anything that jumps to the top of my head, no. I mean, there's obviously other races out there. Dakar is interesting to me. I would love to do the Baja 500, but it doesn't really work with IndyCar schedules. And then, yeah, I'd like to go back to Le Mans one day. These new hypercar regs are awesome in terms of allowing DPIs to kind of be in the top category to go for an overall win. I think is great for U.S. sports car racing and INSA and everything that they're doing over there. So hopefully that'll trickle down in the future. But right now we're solely focused on IndyCar.
Indoor midget race?
I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's, think about your season last year. Pretty good. You'd like a little bit more, several instances, and a better shot at the championship, but how would you assess last year?
Well, it was better in 18, which was better in 17, which was better in 16, so we're going up. Yeah, I think we did everything right in a lot of ways last year. The speed of the car was there, qualifying was good. Just a couple races that I think we had the car to win, we didn't, and ultimately that made the difference. You can't finish second to the guy you're chasing the points often, and we did that three times. So at the end of the day, it didn't really come our way. I think in 2018, that was by a lot of our own doing. There was a lot of mistakes that myself and the team made that kind of cost us probably a championship. Last year, I think the mistakes were pretty minimal, and the speed was good. It just circumstances didn't really allow it to happen. So these things are hard to win. Races are hard to win. Podiums are hard to get. Poles are hard to get. Top fives are hard to get. So championships are very, very challenging, and it's just eluded us the past couple of years. But the team's the same. Continuity is the same. We've got all the right tools, I think, going into this year. So we'll just start again and hopefully be in a better position going into the season finale, which I think ultimately will make the difference.
Of course, Marco pointed out that his dad will now have a third of the field. Pretty close to it. 5 cars for sure, plus the Harvey Association and an extra car appears for May. Bolster, does that help having more cars in the program, or just make for longer debriefs?
All of the above. I mean, it's all how you use the information. So I think, we've always been a big team, at least since I've been a part of it. It's been a 4-car effort, always with a 5th for Indianapolis. So I never noticed a downside to that. If anything, it was the more information you got, if you used it appropriately and didn't get kind of lost in translation, it was a benefit. And that's what you got to do with 3 cars, 5 cars, 9 cars, whatever. You have to know the information that you're looking for, and you have to kind of be able to filter through the noise, right? Because there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of people that have theories, right or wrong, and you just have to know what works for you and what you need at that moment, and if you can do that, then it's nothing but a benefit. So, I think the team wouldn't take it on unless they were prepared to handle running all those cars. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all goes. I know nothing about Indy, so that's news to me, but hey, more the merrier, I guess, and it's not my decision. So.
As long as they're behind you, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Questions? Bruce?
Alex, I know that you've talked about this a little bit before, but I mean, here you were locked on a path to Formula One, and then by circumstance you end up in IndyCar. Not only have you made the most of that opportunity, you've embraced IndyCar as your home. And you sometimes just sit there and say, sometimes you can have a plan, but the plan sometimes has you.
No, 100%. I mean, I'm a big advocate of the fact that I think God has a bigger plan than all of us, and that what we know or don't know and have visibility on. And it's cliche to say, but the phrase "when one door opens, the other one closes" applied to 2015, the end of 2015, and going into 16. So I feel very fortunate and blessed to have gotten that opportunity to kind of get a career lifeline in some way, shape, or form, and don't know how we won the Indy 500 with that, and here we are going on year 5. So hugely grateful to Michael and Brian, who initially gave me the opportunity, and to be able to continue driving for both of them in some capacity is really special. And I hope that we can accomplish a lot together in this next kind of phase of my career.
Paul, Kelly?
I know the team doesn't designate an official team leader, but you've been the top guy in the last couple of seasons. Has your approach within debriefs or just in the team dynamic, how has that changed over the last few years as you have become the #1 guy?
It hasn't. I've said it since day one. Ryan is one of the best race car drivers I've ever had to try and beat, and he taught me 85% of what I know about oval racing. And he's someone that every time we're on track, we push each other pretty hard. And he'll say it, I say it. At the end of the day, he's the guy that we each want to beat. We each want to beat each other. And him and I, and the way our engineers work together, is very much the same since day one. We bounce ideas off each other. We talk through things. We work it out, and we have a really good working relationship. And none of what I've been able to do in my IndyCar career would have been possible without the 28 car and what he's contributed. So, I look forward to fighting him this year, and hopefully we'll both be fighting for a championship at the end.
David?
Where do you see the where you were missing stuff last year? Iowa springs to mind, and then maybe
Yeah, it springs to my mind too.
is it short ovals, and if so, are you worried about how you approach, say, Richmond?
Yeah, no, I am worried about Richmond for sure. I think short ovals were by far our biggest weakness. I think in 2018 we were very good at street courses, okay at road courses, good at super speedways, bad at short ovals. I think in 2019 we were good at everything except short ovals. So our test plan is focused around short ovals. Our off-track development has been focused around short ovals. So obviously I haven't been on track since all of these changes have been made. And on paper they all look good, but in practicality you don't know until you get there. But the important thing is obviously to improve those, but not lose sight of the things you're good at, right? Because you don't really get anywhere if you get good at 3 short ovals, but then you're garbage everywhere else, right? So you have to understand that you're not always going to be perfect at every event, but for sure the focus this off-season has been short ovals, and then obviously Indianapolis and getting a bit better there.
Mandy?
Hey, all right, so you had, I would say, an unlucky season last year, unlucky, but we saw some of your best, in my opinion, some of your best driving, and I'm wondering, how are you going to stay focused and motivated? How do you do it? How do you stay motivated and focused after having such an unlucky season?
Well, the motivation's there until I can win every single race, which will never happen. So I'll never be short on motivation. That's what gets me out of bed each day is knowing that there's people trying harder, pushing harder, training harder to try and beat me, and the competitive nature of myself and the personality that I am. I want to beat them more than they want to beat me. So that's what drives me, regardless of whether it was a good year, bad year, indifferent year. You're only as good as your last race. So every race weekend, every time you're in the car is a new opportunity and a new time you have to prove yourself. And as long as that mentality doesn't change for me, the motivation will always be there.
I think about some of your best races, Road America last year, a half a second on the field, almost every lap. Was that your best race of the season? Long Beach was pretty good too, and Indy was very good.
say Indy was probably the best race. I wish I knew what we did in Road America and Long Beach and Pocono in 2018. Like, it's weird. I mean, there's just days where I guess it all clicks, but we're trying to quantify that and understand why those days go the way they do. Because we don't seem to win races by seconds. It's like big margins. So, we're trying to all wrap our heads around that, I think.
And you came out of Indianapolis, disappointed, and yet it probably was your best Indy 500, I think.
I mean, 2018 was pretty good, I think. So the past 2 years have been good. I think it's weird. I tell people, like, Indy's such a weird place. Like 2016, I did not have the best car at all, and we won. But 2018 and 19, I think we had the best car and couldn't get it done. So it's a wild place. I think the saying that the track chooses the winner is very true, and that's what makes the event so special, and it's why it means so much when you're able to pull it off, because you can have the best car, the best strategy, the best things fall your way, and you still don't win. But that's the Indy 500, that's IndyCar racing.
What are you going to do with this pesky little Colton Herta this year?
Unaffected.
Saying a handshake.
Mark?
Sure.
Alexander, everyone wants to win a championship, obviously, but when you've come close a couple of times and not brought it home, does the value you put on it change, whether it's like just looking for that last bit of validation for the work you've done with the team, or?
No, that's an interesting question. If anything, it makes it more desirable. You know, it's like I talked to Joseph, and he's like, "Yeah, I appreciated the second much more than the first," which I get, because I know that I'll appreciate my second 500 much more than the first. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where once you get it done once, like you kind of have the subconscious roadmap of how to accomplish it. And right now that map it's buffering, like it's not all the way there, right? In 2018 it was like 85%, and then 2019 it was 90%, right? So hopefully we can take a 10% chunk this year and get it done. But I mean, there's so many factors, right? There's so many things that have to work out for you. You gotta be, obviously the pace has to be there, the team's gotta be on it, there can't be mistakes, but it's just all the stars have to align a little bit. So I think if anything, the whole team's hungrier. There's zero complacency, and everyone's just very motivated to try and figure out how to get it done. But you don't want to get caught in the trap of trying too hard, because that's also a very slippery slope. So, I think we're all happy with last year in terms of, like I said, our execution and our performance. So we're going into St. Pete with a similar mindset and just try and kind of carry on 2019.
Okay. Jim in the back? He has a cold, so.
What's the conversation among the drivers about just the change in ownership under Penske? What are the expectations and what are the concerns, if there are any?
No concerns. I haven't had many conversations with other drivers other than Simon and James, really. And I think we all have very high hopes and expectations. I think the Holman George family did a phenomenal job of getting the 500 to where they did. But I think it was time for a fresh set of eyes and fresh input, and just a group or a person or both that is ready to take it to the next level. And I think that you look at what RP has done in his career and his life, whether it's motorsports or not, and everything is exceptional. So I think we are all kind of expecting nothing less. Obviously, it's not something that happens overnight, right? And I think we're all aware of that, but we're all excited for the future, and the fact that someone that has such a history in the sport and not only has the knowledge and the capability to make it better, but also the passion to make it better is very cool. So I couldn't think of a better person or a better group to kind of take over the legacy and push it into the future.
Thanks, Alex. I know you got other things to do and more talking to do.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.